And what I really started noticing was the patterns were also how much was it also similar to the judgments that I have of me or how I see myself. If I saw myself as somebody who was hyper, I guarantee you, I mean, I did find people who I would be in relationship with, who would be in relationship with me, and they would judge me and call me hyper. And it was like, wow, like uh, how many times like we go about thinking that, oh yeah, they must be seeing something in me that I should change about myself. But the thing is, we've already decided that's something wrong about us. And yeah, and then the relationship kind of just becomes like a project that you end up working on yourself. Like, okay, cool, thank you for the opportunity of showing me what's wrong about me, and now I will get to work on it. Rather than enjoying.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Relationships Done Different with my dear Shivam Saxena. Thank you, Shivam, for joining me. The amazing Relationships Done Different facilitator and, explorer of relationships, as we all, aren't we, Shivam?
Aren't we? Yes, seriously. It's been an exploration and adventure. And thank you, Leandra, for having me and so patiently been able to schedule everything with me. Thank you.
I know, I'm shocked. I'm really thrilled that we are here now. And Shivan, we kind of had a little, conversation before we started recording, and you brought up this, this thing, how do you see yourself? And then I kind of added, how do you see yourself in relationships? So, do you want to expand on that, and what does it come up for you when you ask this question?
Yeah, it just made me look at, wow, it's kind of like as if like most of our lives, or like how many people actually go about living their life, but they're living their life, but then they're always like a little bit away, also looking at what they're doing and what they should be choosing and what they cannot be choosing. And I mean, it eventually like just comes down to like where like we kind of also like, instead of like living the life, we like, it's just as if you're an autopilot, but you also are constantly, from whatever age did we start doing that, but you're constantly also evaluating simultaneously while trying to live your life, while simultaneously trying to evaluate what you deserve, what you don't deserve, what you can have, what you're allowed to have, when is the right age to do what, and and all of those things. But it's like, it's kind of like there's two of you. One is here trying to live, and then there's another one, that's like, okay, like, am I doing it right?
Yeah.
Or how much am I, screwing it up? I don't know if you can say the F word on YouTube. I don't know. But yeah, it's like, but yeah, like, trying our best not to make mistakes.
It's almost like you're looking at this judgment of, oh yeah, am I right? Is this functioning? Is this going on? And I see that with a lot of relationships that we create with love relationships. So how do you see yourself in a relationship, if you had one, or if you are in one? How was there anywhere that you could perceive that and change that in a way?
Well, currently I'm not in a relationship, and it's also like, another thing that I really wanted, like, talk about also is like, what if we could embrace whatever our relationship status is, rather than making it like waiting in an airport lounge, and waiting for the next flight or next relationship. But the thing is, so yeah, your question was about how did I see myself? Yeah. The thing was, it was very interesting was, and that's the thing, like, people talk about relationship patterns, like the person may change, or the gender of who you're in relationship may change. You may think that, you have this time you have picked, you're in a relationship with someone who's entirely different, but then it's so interesting that the patterns emerge anyway. And what I really started noticing was the patterns were also, how much was it also similar to the judgments that I have of me or how I see myself. If I saw myself as somebody who was hyper, I guarantee you, I mean, I did find people who I would be in relationship with, who would be in relationship with me, and they would judge me and call me hyper. And it was like, wow, like uh how many times like we go about thinking that, oh yeah, they must be seeing something in me that I should change about myself. But the thing is, we've already decided that's something wrong about us.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and then the relationship kind of just becomes like a project that you end up working on yourself. Like, okay, cool, thank you for the opportunity of showing me what's wrong about me, and now I will get to work on it.
Yeah.
Rather than enjoying and having the joy of having another person in your life.
Yeah, there. It's because, yeah. I would love to expand on that, because it is that where those places that you start to, pick on each other's, imperfections,
Flaws.
you are,
Yeah. Yeah.
and kind of stick to it. What if, as you said, embrace that and be with it, and yeah, what questions can you look into it and change within yourself? And
Yeah.
did you have did you had tools already of relationships or access that you could use when you were in a
Yeah.
relationship? Did that
I
change?
did. Yeah. Oh my God. One tool that really helped me in the relationship that I was in, but actually just overall also was willingness to be an allowance of your partner's judgments. It's kind of like I know, like, people, it's like people, yes, there is a demand in all of our worlds to have a judgment-free reality. And but what happens is a lot of times people start functioning from a judgment averse
Mm, yeah.
mode, which is kind of like judgment of being judged.
Yeah.
It's like,
Of the
you're judging me
judgment.
now, yeah, exactly.
I like
Judgment
that.
of the judgment. And then and especially like when you are in a close relationship with someone, and who's seeing you day in, day out and everything, and the expectation of somebody to be totally like judgment free can also be such a burden on the other person. Like, hey, you're in a relationship with me, and now I expect you to not judge me, you
Mm.
know. And like, and I could see that is like not having a kind effect on the other person. So it's like, and it wasn't like, this person was like extremely judgmental or something, but it was like, okay, yes, that's a journey he's had, and like, and but I think things really got very easy when I just um um stopped having the expectation of that, okay, you're in relationship with me, and now you cannot judge me, you know.
Like you had
uh,
more allowance when you had the allowance of
yeah.
him and you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, allowance. And yeah, it's like yeah, just the allowance. And of course, and the funny thing is, then the gratitude of him not judging me started showing up,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
and I was like, wow, this is easy. Like, I mean, we wait for the gratitude in the relationship to show up. Yes, it's there in the beginning, and then it starts to go wonky or whatever, and then we're waiting for the gratitude in the relationship. Is he grateful for me, or am I grateful for him, or is he grateful for me for the fact that I'm grateful for him? But and but yeah, that's another thing, like how many choices we actually make in relationship based on what the other person is making,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You
which is reaction.
exactly. And when we start to,
Yeah.
really choosing what is working for you, but not really discounting the other person, but like what
Yeah.
really works for me here, as you
Yeah.
said, like, less judgment. It's already making so much ease for everyone.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
relationship itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
and
love.
and that's the thing, it's like those are the tools, like, I mean, access tools, like, I think that just rocked my world, being in relationship. And also, like, again, it does come down to how do you see yourself and the relationship that you have with you.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
that's where really, when we are, especially in classes with relationships and different, that is the whole thing that we go through, isn't it? Like the relationship with you.
yeah,
And that
it
starts to
eventually,
open up to more
yeah.
into any type of relationship.
Yeah. And that is like, and which is like another thing, like, oh my God, it's weird. I'm talking so much about judgment right now. That, I I made a choice to like, yes, like, okay, working on not judging. Okay, judgment is bad, so I should not judge. But eventually the biggest freedom I got from choosing judgment was when I looked at, actually, you know what? When I choose judgment, that's not me honoring me.
Yeah.
It's like that's not me having my back. That's just filling my world with a lot of filth or something that is not necessary. So it's like when I've started making the choice to not judge uh as a way to honor me,
Mhm.
like, like you could say something to me, Leandra, and then I could be like, oh my God, that's a horrible thing. And then like, I judge you for it. But the thing is, it's like, it's my commitment to me to honor me.
Yeah.
That's why I would choose not to judge you, not so you like me more. And
Yeah, I love
um,
that.
but yeah, and that's the things like the elements. I mean, I'm sure like in YouTube, like it's somewhere in the series, like you guys must be talking about the five elements. But like, yeah, when you choose those, truly choose those elements with you, um, your how you show up in the world changes, and that does have an effect on whoever you're interacting with,
Yeah.
in relationship with. Yeah.
Yeah. And so bring it back to when we started the conversation, you're like, that's something different. The side of embracing whatever status relationship you are now,
Yeah.
right? Which I'm assuming you were single. I'm also single. I was in a relationship for 20 years and I've been single for the last 2 years. And
Yeah.
yeah. So can you tell me more about how is how do you embrace that? And what is this, what does this create for you more when you have that clear?
Well, I think it's just it's like, I think it's just my choice to not sulk over the fact that I don't have a relationship. I think that's where it started with. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna enjoy and there are like, and of course, like, yes, there are many aspects of not being in a relationship you can enjoy. And like, maybe flirting with guys, more like, and you don't feel bad about it or something. But like those are the tiny bits. But like the real thing for like, the energetic shift was like, um was that thing of like, did we say that, like, where it's not an interlude,
Mm.
where me not being in a relationship is not about like, oh, this is a phase, this too shall pass, or like, yes,
A definition.
yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's not a definition of whatever it is
Yeah,
with you now.
exactly, it's not a definition, and it's not a gap period. I did have to look at it as a gap period, between two relationships. What if like I included it, and because when I changed that point of view, the way I created my life started also changing. Because it's like, how much do we let this run in our background constantly? The relationship status, like single, it's complicated, he hasn't asked me out yet, or he hasn't proposed yet, or whatever, it's like, but that just like keeps having such a different impact on the choices we make.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think one of the things I really started enjoying also, like while now being in a relationship, is like, man, I don't have to check my schedule with anyone. Now I can fly off, go anywhere, and not be like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? And and it's like, how are you placed and stuff. And so it's like, but the little things like I really started enjoying. And then like just the embracing the part of like, well, this is life too, and it is beautiful. And yeah, what if it's
Choice,
everything
isn't
is,
it? So
yeah,
sometimes
it's a
people are like,
choice.
oh, I have this age, I should be in a relationship, or I have kids, but like, what if what is creating more for you is making you
Yeah,
happier? That's the choice of being single or being in a relationship. That's where
yeah,
I see that when people kind of fall into a trap of, society says we are in a certain age or culture, we should be married. What if what it creates more for you? And that's where I love this conversation with you, because that's what you bring. It's like, okay, now I have this time, this space. It's not like filling a gap, which is I love. I don't need to fill gaps.
I don't need to. And the demand to, okay, enjoy this. Like, what are the many ways, what are the infinite ways of me enjoying this and receiving this and embracing this? Yeah.
I love that. Wow. Thank you so much. Is there anything that, before we end, you'd like to bring to bring up or tell us anything else that pinged for you with this conversation?
Well, if I could like just invite, if it rings for anybody, it's like whatever your relationship status is today, like whether you're in one or however it is, and whether you're not in one, or whether you know that you're waiting for one, even that's okay. It's not waiting for a relationship, and even that's not wrong. It's like, but like, what if you just enjoyed today, regardless, and embraced it.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Leandra, for making this super easy and super fun.
If people want to know more about you, where can they find you?
They can find me on Access Consciousness website and search for my name, and they will see me there. That's usually where I am most, where, it's like, which is the easiest way for people to reach me. I do have like Facebook and everything else, but like the best way is on Access Consciousness website. Just search by my name and you'll find me and say hi. Yeah.
Shivam, thank you. And I hope to meet you at some point, in life, but it's so good to have you here and to meet you around online.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, Leandra.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye. See ya. Bye.